coming to you today from Clermont, Florida.
Clermont Hills Dentistry with a 5-star rating on Google.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was 2 years old, and my mom has shared, like, something was off with me. She's like, I'm gonna take him to the doctor. You're thinking it's just something like he's sick, or he has like the cold or something like that, and no, it's like, no, your son is diagnosed with leukemia.
Seeing my kid go through chemotherapy at such a young age.
You gotta put in whatever faith you have at that time. You gotta believe in the universe, believe in that supreme being, just to, like, I'm gonna put it in your hands.
Now I'm it's all God, this ain't no.
You're tuned into the EG Dominates podcast, coming to you today from Clermont, Florida, at the beautiful office of Clermont Hills Dentistry. I'm being joined by Dr. LuisVeloz. Thank you so much for being on the show. Really looking forward to you telling your story today. So welcome to the EG Dominates podcast.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
So you and I have known each other for a couple of years. We've worked together in the past and follow each other on social media. And first I want to start out by saying how happy I am for the success that you've had in the 2 years since your practice opened. So we're kind of talking a little bit about that before the camera started rolling, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I wanted to first say congratulations, because you're a testament to what that American dream is all about, and becoming a business owner and a doctor, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So you had reached out to me a couple weeks ago. I had put a post out on Instagram inviting anybody that was a cancer survivor or battling cancer. They had a story that they wanted to tell to come on to my show, and you had sent me a message. So let's start there, because when we talked and you told me kind of how this whole thing came together, I was like, man, like that I felt that. Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah.
So take it away.
All right. Yeah, I saw your post, and I didn't respond immediately because it had been several weeks till then, and I was in my head just seeing, like, okay, do I want to share it? I think I should, because your story inspired me. Like, when you first started doing your podcast and sharing your story, I was like, that's awesome. Like, people need to hear more of that story, and that's what I was like, all right, I'm gonna message Eric, and I'm gonna do it.
Glad you did.
So yeah, not a lot of people know this, but I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was 2 years old, and it's I don't remember too much about it, but I've seen the pictures, and my parents have shared me the story. So I was 2 years old, and my mom has shared, it's like something was off with me, like something was going on that she's like, something's off with my child. So I'm the firstborn, so all eyes are on me.
Mm-hmm.
Started noticing I was getting paled, like the fingerprints on my nails were like very white. So she's like, I'm gonna take him to the doctor. So one thing led to another, and I was like, okay, we need to do further testing on Luis, and then it was just like, you're thinking it's just something like he's sick, or he has like the cold or something like that, and no, it's like, no, your son is diagnosed with leukemia.
Wow.
And shocker to, like, my mom, my dad, and just like, what do we do? So we're in New York at the time, so we're in the city, so both my parents had probably been like so I'm 2, they were probably like less than 4 years of being in the country, so English is not their first language, and they're in New York, and they're just trying to figure out what do we need to do. So luckily, my dad had a good job, in the sense of, like, he was a jewelry factory worker. So
Okay.
he would just work at jewelry. So he had a good health insurance. So I was able to get set up it was the Columbia University Hospital. So at the time, like, I go through the testing, and they're like, okay, your son has leukemia. We can offer a couple of things. We can offer him this kind of experimental trial of giving chemotherapy to this young of an age, and we won't guarantee you anything, but we'll see what happens. And it was very new. So this is like 1992 that this is like, people are just studying and figuring out. So we go through the process of going through chemo, because they're like, we don't know if he's going to make it. This is, you have to sign these waivers to knowing that we're going to try it, but we think this might have good success.
I mean, you're a father and you've got young kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't even imagine having to hear that, or as a parent make that decision, seeing my kid go through chemotherapy at such a young age. Like, what a punch to the gut, right?
Oh, yeah. So everything is like, you got to put in whatever faith you have at that time. You got to believe in the universe, believe in that supreme being, just to like, I'm going to put it in your hands.
Yeah.
So I go through the trials of chemotherapy, and they tell these are the side effects. His hair is going to be, you're going to lose his hair is going to be lost. He might be more tired. He won't be able to like do the things that a normal 2 or 3 year old wants to do, which is go out and play. Your immune system is low. So that was so I was like in the house, like, I was just, my kid's not playing with anyone. This is my mom's mindset. My kid's not playing with anyone.
And at the time you said you were in New York, you were in the city?
I was in the city.
Okay.
So yeah, I was living in Queens. And so we would commute to Manhattan, where the hospital was, the Columbia University Hospital. And so we would commute like on, I believe my mom said like every, you go through several like sessions of chemotherapy. So initially we'd go like every week to like every month, and then eventually 3 years of chemotherapy. So now I'm at the age of 5, and, we're still doing the testing, and they're like, his white blood cells are back to normal. His red blood cells are doing good, and your son is now in remission. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So that was my upbringing, and yearly, we would have to do checkups, and I would, go from Queens to Manhattan to get those checkups. And I remember that, like, I was like, why we're going again? Like, it was.
So being at such a young age, you don't know any different. But fast forward to present day, how has that experience, you think, shaped who you are as a person?
Me, as the sense of like, be more self-aware. That's probably the number one thing for me. And I didn't know too much of the side effects that it would have like on me. So I think it shaped me in the sense of like, I want to take every day as a new day of gratitude, because I'm here, because I could not be here. None of this would be here. We would not be having this conversation had it not been for, modern medicine and my parents' perseverance and, diligent to be here. I was like, all those choices led us to be right now here present to share this story.
Incredible. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
You had said that that's something that nobody, for the most part, besides your close family, knew.
Yeah,
right?
no.
So what made you compelled to share the story?
I think one thing is to know that, like, I never labeled myself as a cancer survivor, because I never thought, like, it was like, oh, I remember going through this. But like looking back and then just hearing those stories, as my parents have shared with me throughout the years, and now I see my kids, I'm like, I need to share this more, because I need to have people be aware, like, whatever obstacles we may get in life, and you're a testament of that, you can dominate. You can fulfill your dreams that you never know, because you have a purpose. And so I'm like, all right, I got to share this. And it's motivated me to know, like, if I can help somebody, like, sweet. Like,
I get multiple messages, almost daily, from people that I've never even met, that follow my Instagram and my story. And, it's inspiring that even if you can make the difference in one person's life, is as small as that sounds. Knowing that you can make the difference in one person's life makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the purpose.
Yeah.
So I love your story, and that's what I want to kind of get into now. Local hometown hero. Okay. I got to the office this morning and I was looking through your stuff, and I saw something that you have that I wanted to show, because this is like the fact that you have this in the office is crazy. So we start off. My man's got the East Ridge High School diploma, the high school diploma.
Oh, yeah.
So East Ridge High School, wow. And then you follow that up with the Sumter Community College in Leesburg.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we're going to BYU.
Yep.
So you went cross country.
I went cross country. Yeah.
Insane. So talked about cancer, and you go into remission at the age of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Still living in New York?
Yeah, we're still living in New York.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did we get to Florida here?
So my family immigrated to New York, so my aunts, uncles, cousins, that's where we're all, from Ecuador to New York. We're there.
Okay.
And it's all I know at the time. And it's like, all right, this is where all of the United States is, like buildings, where apartments close together. So it came to a point when my parents were noticing, like, okay, we want a different change of scenery, and they start eyeing Florida, and I'm at the age of, I think I was the age of 16, and they're like, we want to move to Florida. No family here, maybe extended family that we've never met,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to move to Florida. And I'm like, sure. Like, what's up? All I know is Disney's over here, so I'm like, sure, I'm down.
What age is this?
I'm 16 at the
16.
time. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's tough. I have a son that's turning 16 in a couple months. I could not imagine if I went to him and said, hey, pal, we're moving across the country to a new state. Like, that's incredible. Okay, so
we're like, I mean, I trust my parents. So, like, they're like, and in their view was like, we want the best things for our kids. So it's me and my brother, and a lot of stuff has happened at that point in New York. So, I still vividly remember 9/11. I was there when all that happened. And so, there's now this sense of like, we want to try to find something different for our kids. My parents, is their mentality. So they eye Clermont, Florida. So it was like a real estate friend through this family member just like introduced us to, like, so this is Clermont. So they're like, to my parents, I was like, there's 4 locations here that I want to introduce you. There's, I think there's Davenport, there's Clermont, and there's Winter Garden, like these 3 areas. So, and then their view was like, we wanted the best place for, like, where our kids will get the best education. So they were looking at all these different areas, and they just fell in love with Clermont. And their whole thing was like, we like these hills, the
lakes.
Mm-hmm. This is greenery. So,
Yeah.
and so this is what they're telling me. I'm like, we're thinking here. So it's 2006, and we sell our house in New York, and we have enough funds to, like, now buy a house here in Florida, and great. And I came here once to see what we were going to live in. I was like, I like this. If this is what, Florida is, count me in. Like, and at that point, I'm like, I like to raise my family here. Like,
Yeah.
this would be great. And then we made the switch. We're like, we're going, and we took everything, and we said bye to everybody, and then we're here in Clermont, Florida.
So you moved to Clermont, Florida. You transferred to the high school here as a junior or a senior?
I was a junior.
A junior.
Okay. So when I was and it's crazy how credits work from up north to, like, here. I had enough credits to graduate immediately. So I was like, sign me up. What do I got to do? It's like, just take this amount of classes the first, from August to December, and then take these classes from January to May, and you'll graduate. I'm like, sure. Like, I didn't know many people here, so my mentality was like, just graduate.
Yeah, you weren't coming here trying to necessarily with a mentality of making friends and fitting in. You kind of just, at the age of 16, wanted to move on.
Yeah, and it would have been different if I was like, oh, if I started ninth grade here, starting my high school years here to like, enjoy. And that's what I tell like everyone was like, wherever you go, enjoy it, whatever time period is. And I enjoy that 1 year. Like in that year of, I was in East Ridge. It was like, this is like my high school in New York was not like the high school here in Florida.
I just couldn't imagine living, in high-rise buildings or multi-family buildings in a compact area, and then coming out to West Orlando in the 90s, and it's just wide open, orange groves and grassland. And
so to take the bus from so I was in the Four Corners areas to like over here, it was like I would always just like look out the windows like I lost count how many orange grove trees are along
no houses.
And no houses. Yeah, no houses. So that was that. So we're like, I finished like high school there, and great year. And I'm like, okay, like, what's the next step? And I was like, I got to get a degree. Like, I got to study. And I was very conscious with like money, because we were just going through like, the big housing market crash that happened, and that was just another thing that was just like I have to be, I saw my parents like income just go very low, and I'm very conscious of like I don't want to just go to a really high tuition school, because I don't want to put that burden on my parents.
So at that point you decided you wanted to get the generals out of the way, which is extremely smart. I went to junior college for 1 year and just got a lot of those generals out of the way myself. And I think it's a very smart play, especially if you don't necessarily know what it is that you want to do, or you're going to take generals either way, right? So why not take them at a lower price than going to a major university, right out of the gates, which there's nothing wrong with. But
no, there's nothing wrong with.
If you're the one fronting the bill, or if you're in financial hardship, sometimes it makes sense. So I agree with that. So you go to Sumter, you get the generals out of the way. I mean, you don't come from a legacy of dentists, do you?
No, I don't.
So at what point in time did you start thinking about pursuing dentistry?
So I'm in Lake Sumter, and I'm still figuring out, like, I'm not in a rush to like, okay, I need to know what my major is. I'm like, let me get my generals out of the way. And it was right here in Clermont. So I'm like, let me just go to the Clermont campus, and let me just enjoy while living at home, which I had no problem at. I was like, don't have to pay rent. I'm like, it's good. So I was like, okay, now I start to think like, what do I want to do as a career in the sense to provide for my family, but also just like know that that was always the mindset of my parents. I was like, get an education, get a career, don't do what we did. My parents didn't finish their college because they came here, and because they're like, we want the best for our kids, and we knew like this is going to give them the best opportunities. Just
like millions of other immigrants in this country too. I mean,
Correct.
How many hours a week do you think both your parents worked?
Oh man,
on average?
I would say 40 plus.
Like, I mean, they're both putting work in. And
my mom, I remember vividly, my mom worked overnights at the Target in New York, because she wanted to spend time with us in the day. So like, she didn't want an 8 to 5 job. She'd rather do the overnight so I can be there, be right for him, go to school, and then and then when they come back, I'll be there, and then I'll go the next day. I'll go that night
Wow.
so
So
and
she
my,
really prioritized family.
oh yeah,
Incredible.
and then my dad would be like, he would be like, he's at 8 to 5, but commuting to downtown Manhattan to then, so he was like a 7 to 6 person guy as well. So hard, that's where I got that mindset. It was like, I gotta work to make it work
Yep.
for my family.
Yep. Hard work. Okay. So at this point, what happens next?
So what then happened? So then at that point, we're here in Florida, and we're getting our roots settled and everything there. And I had a good friend that was a leader in our church, and he was a dentist. He was a pediatric dentist.
Okay.
And I would always keep an eye on him in the sense of like, what did he do with his family? What was his lifestyle? And I was like, what do you do for your work? And he's like, I'm a dentist. I'm a pediatric dentist. I'm like, okay, can I talk to you more? Can I like explore your career more and just see if this is something I want to do? I was like, yeah, sure. So he had his practice in Lake Mary, and
Okay.
and he said, just come to my office and check it out. So then I started shadowing him and see what he did day to day, and his interaction with kids and his interaction with his staff, to the point that, long story short, he just like, do you want to help out like around here, like, clean instruments, get my room set up? And I was like, sure. And that was my introduction to dentistry, like, to the fact of like, this is what you do. Because I never had, I would go to the dentist, my regular 6 months or once a year, and that was that. I was like, all right, this is what I do. But then like, to then now see it more back, like behind the scenes of how this is run, this was like, this is pretty cool. Like, you go and you help people. Like in his case, he would help out the kids, make sure.
So it's cool. So he took you under his wing, almost in a sense. Is this somebody you still keep in touch with? Or no?
Yeah. He recently passed away. Actually, now he passed away probably a couple months ago from leukemia. Actually. So he was in his late 60s, early 70s. And I actually went to his funeral not too long ago. I made an effort and I went, and yeah, God bless his soul. But yeah, he was the one that introduced me to the career, and I thanked him because before his passing, like, because I told him like, thank you for doing that. And yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Dude, your story is so good. So good. So how long do you think you were working with him? Is this like, we're talking days, weeks, months?
So we were so after shadowing him, he introduced me to that, and then we kept in touch as I was finishing Lake Sumter, and then I went to BYU over to Idaho, because it was two reasons. People was like, why did you go to Idaho? I was like, I went to Idaho for two reasons. I went because my tuition was very, very affordable, and the cost of living was very, very affordable as well. So
Right, which is totally not the case in Idaho, I think, anymore. I think Idaho's like one of those places that's, had a mass migration of people that have moved to in the last couple of years. It drives up the cost of homes in the area and everything else. So you were in there at the right time, it sounds like, huh?
And it was a church sponsor school, so that also helped in the sense of like, I was amongst peers that we had the same values, same like things that we would we would share in regards to it there. So I met my wife there, and and that's another story in the sense of like how I share with my story and what we've shared to now, that we decided to to get married and stuff like that.
So how many total years were you in Utah?
So I was in Idaho.
I'm sorry, Idaho. How many years were you in Idaho?
2 years.
2 years in Idaho.
2 years in Idaho.
And then you moved back to Florida after those 2 years?
Yeah. So while I was in Idaho, I needed to do an internship because you're required to do like a semester of like what your career is based off of. So then I reconnected with my friend. His name is Dr. Ingalls, the pediatric dentist. And I said like, hey, can I come and now thoroughly like work for you like as a full-time employee? Because I need it as a requirement. It's like, no questions asked. Yeah, just come.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't need to be paid. It's like, no, I'm gonna pay you for your time. So that's where I get more involved in the sense of like, now like this is what, now we're working as a full time. And he then starts, then I see the all ins and outs of the office. Like I see the good, I see the bad. I start seeing it, and that's what just stamps it. Like for me, like, okay, we're gonna pursue
Just like a little bit more maturity. Like
yes.
at this point, you hadn't even started dental school, so
No,
you're just
no.
finishing your 4-year bachelor's.
I'm finishing my 4-year bachelor's, and this is like that after that was like, okay, I'm gonna pursue it.
So you go from here to Idaho, going cross country, right?
Mhm.
And you go by yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I went away myself to college and learned a lot about myself as a person. You're away for 2 years. You said that's where you met your wife as well.
Mm-hmm.
So during the time that you were there, anything stand out that's part of your story that you want to share? Just, I guess, more along the lines of, self-discovery.
I think not being now trying to take more responsibilities of like myself in the sense of like, oh, like I got a budget accordingly, like, what it became more of like a stepping stone for me, that self-aware that sometimes we all go through it, at one point in our lives. So like, what now made you into that responsible person, or like more conscious person of like things? So that was for me like, oh,
Well, it sounds too like you're really centered, surrounded by spiritually like-minded people as well,
Yeah.
which is always, I think, extremely important to have that support, the right people
Yeah.
around you. Okay, so you move back here, and at that time, you're not married yet, but I'm guessing you're dating your wife-to-be?
yeah. So we were right when I was about to graduate from BYU. That's when we got married. So we we
Wow.
dated during that time period when I was there, and I share with Kimberly, which was my wife. I was like, let's graduate and then let's get married.
Yeah.
And we did that. We both graduated the same day, and then
That's awesome.
we were at the time like graduating, planning the wedding. I'm trying to apply for dental school. A lot's going on in that time period, which is like,
You've had a couple of chaotic points of
Ye-
your life, right?
yeah.
Big change. So
Yeah.
that sounds like one of them. You're planning a wedding.
yeah,
You are pursuing dental school.
yes.
You're making a move cross country.
At the time, we were still gonna stay.
Planning.
We were gonna still stay put in Idaho
Okay.
because one, we were like, we're gonna be newlyweds, so let's stay here since it's affordable for us. And before we made, because we were like, when you apply to dental school, you don't know where you're gonna go.
Correct.
You hope, and I share this with a lot of a lot of pre-dental students. I'm like, you do your requirements, take your DAT, take your entry exam, make yourself polish that, and then you apply, and then you just wait until whatever the faith of the application system gives you. So this is 2015, 10 years almost to the date that we're like, okay, planning a wedding, trying to apply for dental school, and we're ready to get move in together, me and Kimberly, as newlyweds. And that was, oh man, that was some crazy times.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Incredible. Okay, so you start applying to dental schools, and where did you end up getting accepted?
So I applied twice. I didn't get in the first year, and And I didn't get in that first year because when I just there was a lot going on, and I needed to like needed to really take a look at myself and say, it's like, okay, what are we gonna do to make yourself better the next cycle? And then I reapplied, and I get the one call from Western University in California. They called my name. They're like, we want you for an interview. Are you willing to do that? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I had applied to like, I want to say like 10 schools.
Okay.
10 schools that I felt like based off of like where I was standing academically and where I felt like was good in the sense of like where I can see myself being, because there's hundreds of dental schools, and each ones that you apply to has a price to them, and when you're a college student, you have to just apply what you can afford, pretty much.
Yeah. So you ended up going to school then in California?
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
So we're going to school in California. And where is Western University?
It's in the city called Pomona, California, San Bernardino area,
Oh,
San
yeah.
Bernardino County.
Uh-huh.
About an hour and a half away from LA.
Yeah. So I grew up in Thousand Oaks. I was about
Thousand Oaks.
45 minutes to an hour north of Los Angeles.
Nice.
So the area that you're talking about, I know very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
So how many years were you there?
4 years.
4 years. Big part of your life.
Good part of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to dental school. I had my firstborn. He was 1 at the time. So yeah. So now it's like I'm a dental student. I'm a dad. I'm a husband, and it's like, okay.
How many other dental students are in that category that are married and have
we were
a child?
We were a small handful, but we were always tight. So it was a
You know what I'm
class.
saying? Like that just doesn't. It's kind of
No,
like
we were a class
right?
of class of 80,
Okay.
and I want to say 6 of us were in that pool of like married and either we're going to have kids or had kids.
6 out of the 80.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
So
Yeah.
we were like,
You guys are the responsible ones.
oh yeah, we're the parents.
Yes,
we're
of the group.
We're the parents, while the other ones are just like, hey, we're going out Friday night. What do you guys want to do? I was like, I'm gonna go to my kids.
Yeah. So what was the hardest part of dental school for you?
For me, it was like time, managing my time, because at that point, I'm like, it's school, work, go home. And for me, the hard part was just like, now I got to balance my time, because now it's school, work, and family.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing, is like, me, I was like, I'm just trying to do the best of my classes so then I can just graduate. And then, but this is what I think helped me, was like, in that time, like, I was like, make it what a priority. It's like, there's a time for school, there's a time for you to work, and then there's a time for the family, because they're growing up. They're not putting a pause on, in the sense of like, they're still growing up, so they also need that time in regards to it there. So that was the hard part. Like, would I do it again? Again, yeah, 100%.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part, the relationships that you built, 4 years with the same like classmates.
Yeah.
Like that's
The camaraderie.
Yeah, you
You
can't.
still keep up with a lot of people?
Yeah, I keep up with them on social. I mean, the benefit with social media is like you can still keep in touch with them. You can see, they've seen what I've done to this point, and I've had classmates reach out to me. He's like, how did you do this? How would you, or like, I'm going out through like, I have my first kid, and what's that like? So I've had that conversations with them, which has been nice. And I think that's always, I like to keep up with seeing their progress in life, because it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's great to keep up with, like, I keep up with quite a few people that, that I went to high school with and college with. And this was a long time ago. And without social media,
Yeah.
the other side of the mind.
like-
I'm on the other side of the United States. So I feel that. Um, so 4 years in California, you graduate, and how did you guys decide to move back to Florida versus, I guess, staying in Southern California?
The main reason was family. So at that, I finished dental school, so I had now my second child. So now we're a family of four, and my mindset is like, let's be close to where family is, which I think a lot of the reasons why, like, we like now being parents, we're like, wherever our grandma and grandpa are,
Yeah,
let's be
some,
close.
some
Let's be
support, some help.
let's get some support. Let's be with them. So I I pitched the idea to Kimberly's like, I know this great city in southern and in central Florida that I think you're gonna like. So as I talked to her more about it, I was like, let me tell you, like, come to Clermont. Let's look at it. I think you'll like it. It's has I think everything that you're looking for, and that I know what. And in my head, I'm like, I know what I want to do in Clermont, like, because this has been like home.
Sure.
So, we come to an agreement, and we're like, okay, let's go on the other side of the country now, back to Clermont.
So you ended up back in Clermont. What year?
2021.
2021.
Yeah, so and we're back here in 2021.
Okay, so year after COVID.
Year after COVID, yeah.
2021 in Florida. You still had, a lot of people wearing masks all the time in
Mhm.
offices. But
Yep.
as far as lockdowns and things like that, by 2021, we're back
Mhm.
running at full force. I met you, I thought it was earlier than 2021, but
It was
it was
2021.
2021.
It
Yeah.
was almost a month after we had moved, because I started working June of 2021, and I think I met you like around that time, shortly after that. And we had just recently like moved, so like
Yeah, I had no idea.
yeah,
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 that's awesome.
new grad, new to everything.
Yeah. So you have another pivotal moment in your story when a few years later you decide, I'm going to open up my own dental practice. And you've had a vision, you and your wife, to open up this practice. And why don't you kind of share with people just kind of, what goes into that? Because it's a lot. We're talking about it being not just a full-time job as a clinical, as a doctor, but also you're a full-time business owner, and hiring the right people, and putting trust in those people to carry on certain aspects of business and allow you time to do other things, or spend your focus in other ways. So 2 years ago is when this beautiful office opened. How much time before the office opened were you and your wife working on this?
It a year and a half almost. So I had met you, and I was working at where I was working like over like about an hour away from here in the Villages, and I think it was like around, I want to say late of 2021. I knew, it was like, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
I gotta start this. So we started almost like the end of that year, and we start the process, like, and from that time to almost 2023 is the time frame from like when it was a thought to when it actually, like, the doors actually opened, and we had the permission to start seeing people in this building. So that was the time frame, almost like a year, almost 2 years in the making of it there. A lot goes through that. I'll just, like, it's not, you gotta talk to banks to give you like funds to get this started, because you have to build up a savings. You have to start hiring the right people to be part of this team, because and that was my thing. Like, I was like, I want to simplify it as much as I can, but at the same time, like, I still want to be the one to make sure, like, I have to be the one to say the okay of making the decisions.
Sure.
So you get,
And you're doing all this, relatively for the first time. Like,
yeah,
you're the one that signs their paychecks at the
Ye-
end of the day.
yes,
Right? And that's scary too,
Yeah.
because you didn't go to school to learn how to
No.
run a business,
no,
right?
no one teaches you this. And I had, in dental school, I try to be proactive, because as I was doing my requirements of, being clinically and making sure, like, standard of care and all that stuff, along with that, like, I would still on the side, like, listen to podcasts about people sharing, like, how they opened up a dental office,
Mm-hmm.
what they did there, or then having, there was an event going on at this school about how to be a business owner. So I try to maximize that time in the sense of, like, okay, if this is what I'm going to lean towards in the future, make sure you do it there. So that was a lot of planning. I'm a big planner in the sense of, like, before I execute a plan, I want to make sure, like, we pre-plan everything and it's and let's execute it as necessary there.
Is there any memories that stand out over the last 2 years in your mind when it comes to, like, just things that are fun that you'll never forget? Any memories made here?
It was fun seeing this from dirt to, like, it was fun seeing the construction of
I
them.
remember seeing pictures of videos of you and your kids, your
Yes,
family,
yes.
when there was just dirt here.
Yes.
Like, that's special. That's a special memory.
Yes. I'm not a big, like, oh, let's take this picture. That was all. Kimberly, she's like, all right, time with the kids.
She documented it
Document-
perfectly.
yeah.
Good job, Kimberly.
Yeah, good job.
So practice has been open for 2 years. Talk to me about your practice. If I'm a potential patient, I hate to say that, but I gotta say I'm somebody that lives in the Clermont area. It doesn't matter if I'm new here or I'm just looking for a new dentist, or I haven't been to the dentist in a long time. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We've been talking about yourself, but
Yeah.
tell me a little about your dental philosophies and just the way you practice dentistry here.
Yeah, so we're a family-owned dental practice, locally owned. So, like, I live here in the community. I'm aware of what goes on in this area. I've seen the area there. So, like, if you're looking for someone that's wants to know more about the area, talk to me.
Okay.
We're family orientated. So, like, I see from as early as, a couple months old to, like, all the ages that we see there. So, I'm a very conservative dentist in the sense of, like, there might be a lot going on in someone's, oral health and stuff like that, but I'm more of a, like, let's come with a game plan. Go back to, like, what is that you want to accomplish at the end of the day? You want a good oral, or good healthy mouth. We'll get you there. This, like, we're non-judgmental. Like, I want to make sure, like, people feel comfortable when they come here, because throughout, as I've gotten to know my patients and patients that have come here, people have high dental anxiety to come to the dentist, and I want to be that, lower that barrier for them to sense, like, we can help you there. I'm not in a rush to the sense of, like, let's get you in and get you out. Like, no, like, let's build this relationship that you feel comfortable coming to my office, and that we can establish that relationship to, and I can see the progress of of them and their families and stuff like that. So that's what we're about. I mean, that's why we set up, a lot of, like, the setup in the waiting room was to be, like, almost like if you're in your living room, and that way when we go back there to do what we need to do as dental procedures and stuff like that, that it can still be that comfortable, less stressful time for you and for me in regards to it there. So that's what we're about. We get a lot of people that have moved into this area, and they see, our reviews, and then they see like, what my story is, and what I share with them. Like, I love and appreciate this community because it's given back so much to me, that if this is my way to contribute to them, like that's why I did this practice, in the sense of like, it's family orientated for a reason.
That's awesome. So when it comes to dentistry, is there anything that you tend to think about that you're passionate about? Do you have like any deep passions within dentistry? Like, as an example, some people love doing Invisalign. Some people love doing dental implants or veneers. Like, do you have something that, that you enjoy doing the most, or something you enjoy doing more than other things?
I mean, I just enjoyed, this week I had a patient that she had like two crowns and on her front teeth that had broken 10 plus years, and today and this week we delivered her final crowns, and she was just like excited like,
Yeah.
This is awesome, like, thank you, like, and that is my passion. Like, when someone's like, thank you for helping fix this problem for me, like, it makes me sweet. Like, this is why I'm here. This is what I wanted to help people, like, and that can be from a range of like either cosmetic or someone in pain, and you get them out of pain, whether through a root canal or through an extraction, like, or just that feeling of just like, whatever it is, if it's under my tool belt to help you, like, I'm gonna help you in what I can, and stuff like that. So that's what drives me. That's what it's like. Okay,
It's that raw emotional feeling that you're either able to take somebody out of pain, or you are able to put somebody back into the right function and stability, so that you are basically overall enhancing their quality of life. If you've been through something like that before and you're listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're a doctor or a patient, for the longest time, me being in dentistry for 10 years, I would see those moments and those interactions between doctors and patients all the time. But it wasn't until my oral cancer ordeal that now I look at that and I can feel that emotion, because I know that someday I'm going to be the one that's getting that.
yes, yes.
So, yeah.
And you can't put a price on that.
As a deep cough. Yeah, I love hearing that, because that's the purpose.
Yeah.
That's your purpose.
100%.
So when it comes to managing and leading a team, both business and clinical, what have you found has been something that has allowed you to be successful when it comes to, I guess, coaching and developing people to do the things that they need to do to make Clermont Hills Dentistry successful?
Man, I can't do this by myself. Like, I've always said that from day one. And anyone that has come to the office and worked for me is like, I'm not a one-man show. This is a team effort. Like, we have to be all on the same page. Like, if you share the same vision that I share, and we are trying to like accomplish something, like, this is like, I share this a lot with like even my dental assistants and my dental hygienists. I was like, if you see something, or if or you want to share an idea, like, let me know. Like, like your input is just as valuable as anyone in this office. So like, and I've, because I've seen the stuff that we can do as a team, like in the sense of like, when, if I can go and and clean that room out, that's one less thing that my dental assistant has to do, because now she's taking care of the next patient coming in there. Or if I can, be ready do that exam for my dental hygienist, that's one less thing that they have to come and get me. Like, it's like, that's been the fun part of just like, being able to establish that team. And then, having like, and my office manager, like Tito, like he's, talking to him and just like coming up with ideas. I was like, like that's motivating in the sense of like, oh, I have someone that is interested in what we're trying to accomplish here. So having the right mindset,
Everyone coming together for the common good.
Yes. And, and at the end of the day, like we, I have the opportunity to give, job opportunities for my staff. Like that to me is like, I love, same thing, going back to like that makes me feel good. And if they want to pursue other stuff, I'm like, sweet. Like, can I be that stepping stone for, for you? I have one staff member that's interested in doing nursing. And I'm like, awesome. Let me be that stepping stone so you can get there. And if that time comes when you go to nursing school, like, all we're going to do, we're going to celebrate with you.
Yeah.
And that's that. So like, that to me is like, that's like what excites me. That's what, there are days that it's like, oh, things run smoothly and we're all good. And then things that are just like, oh, we got to do this and that. But I mean, I look at it as like, we accomplish the day, on to the next day. And then, just, I've tried my best to try to like, there's probably last month people have asked me, what's your vision? What do you want to do? And I'm like, right now I'm doing it. I'm living it. And I don't know what's next. I mean, it's sky's the limit. Like,
Yeah.
You've seen it for yourself. And I think now, like, talking more about it's like, my goodness, where did we come, when we came from to the start of when you and I met, even before that, to like now doing this. Like, not in a million years I would be saying like we'd be doing doing a podcast in Clermont, Florida.
Right?
It's crazy.
Proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Proud of you. So one last question.
Yeah.
I think about how hard it is to be a young dentist, a young business owner. And I think about, as a man or a woman, what motivates you, who motivates you, who praises you, who's there in your corner, personally and professionally, that's cheering you on. Because the one thing that I see a lot is, motivation, praise and reward, right? People want to be recognized for things that they do a good job at. People want to be recognized for the little things, not just the big things. And I think about, if I'm a dentist or I'm a business owner, who's in my corner cheering me on, giving me that encouragement? Because I think that's one of the things that's missing a lot of times in the profession of dentistry or being a business owner. You're singing praise and coaching and developing your team, but who's doing that for you? So in your life, in your world, what does that look like?
I mean, I've made it, I would say, my spouse, Kimberly's, she's been my cheerleader, in my life, and she's helped me to every day, to remember what you're doing this for and stuff like that. In addition to that, I think what's helped is like building like that circle of friends that are sharing the same things that one is going through. Like, I've been able to formed text message groups with a couple of like other owners here in the area,
Just a
and
way to soundboard and
just like
keep in touch.
just
share
keep in
ideas.
touch, and like, you know, like, what are you doing, or like, how do you manage this? Like, I've done that, and that's helped me in the sense of like, oh, someone's gone through this. Let me share with you what I had to do there, and you might decide yes to do it or not to do it. But just having someone in that corner just to like know that you can do this. And now I've done the same thing with other people that have gone through like the process of building their own practice. Like, we sometimes feel we're alone in this island, and it's you can be, but you also can make the choice to reach out to someone, or vice versa. It's like, if I want to reach out, and knowing that you, with social media, with our devices, like, we can get so much information, and just, you know, have a sit down to just chat about these things, and saying, you know, this is what I've done because I went through what you went through, and you at the end of the day can make that decision to whether or not, like, how do I want to execute it there. And I think that's what is knowing, like, you have that support with your family, you have the support among your peers, and you can have that support anywhere if you create it, and if you you know, fulfill that in regards to it there. So that's been my blessing, in the sense of like, I've had that support amongst people that are sharing that are going through what we've gone through, and knowing that it's also my responsibility, or I can make sure that, like, I'm open to sharing other people that, you know, you can do this.
Sure.
And I'll share this, like, I'm glad I did it, and I was the mindset, if I fail, if I just fail at, you know, with anything, like with this practice, at least I can have that story or that experience saying, like, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. Like, I don't care if I fail. I don't care if I went bankrupt. I did it.
Yeah.
And
You
now,
took that step.
I took that step, and I'm glad I did. And now I can learn from it, and I can decide if I want to do it again or not. So, and that was, I share that every time, like, as I was, like, you know, going through the process of, like, signing that, you know, loan, signing this lease, all that stuff there. It's like,
Scary.
It's scary, but I'm going to do it. And if I fail, okay, but at least I did it.
Well, I think you're a great guy. I think you're a great doctor. I think that you're a great family man, and you're a great person here.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that we're able to sit down. I'm glad that you were able to share your incredible story with me, both personally and professionally. And I've been following you from a long time, and I'm a big fan of you. So keep doing what you're doing.
Likewise, man. Thank you for giving me the platform to share. This has been awesome. I'll continue doing this. This is great. And yeah, I look forward to seeing your journey as well. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now I'm